Eric wiped sweat from his forehead as he finished his morning workout. The gym was almost empty. Most alien cadets couldn't handle Earth-level gravity training. He nodded to May, who was cooling down after her own routine. "Did you hear about the big training operation?" May asked, lowering her voice. "Yeah. And guess what? They're splitting us up again," Eric said. The 6 human cadets at the Galactic Defense Academy had learned to stick together. In a school filled with beings from across the galaxy, humans were different. They came from Earth, classified as a death world because of its harsh conditions, high gravity, extreme weather, dangerous animals, and countless diseases. "Meeting tonight?" May asked. Eric nodded. "Same place. Tell the others." Later that evening, the 6 humans gathered in their secret spot, a maintenance closet they'd discovered wasn't monitored by the Academy systems. "So they're separating us for the big training mission," said Regiv, sitting on an upturned bucket. Deo leaned against the wall. "My squad leader already told me I'm just there to carry the heavy gear. He called me a useful pack animal." Lena shook her head. "Same here. My commander said humans are good for taking damage that would kill the valuable team members. They think we're stupid and primitive," Zoe said, her eyes sparking with anger. "Just because we don't have natural telepathy or can't see in the dark." "But we have something they don't understand," Eric said. Everyone turned to him. "We adapt. We survive. We've been doing it for thousands of years on a planet that tried to kill us every day." Mai smiled slowly. "And now we have a chance to show them." "What do you mean?" asked Regiv. "The training operation. It's a huge war game on Proxima 9. 24 squads competing against each other," Mai explained. "What if we use this to our advantage?" Eric caught on quickly. "They're splitting us up as weaknesses. But what if we coordinate?" Zoe finished his thought. "Exactly," Mai said. "They don't think we can communicate without their fancy tech. They don't expect us to work together across different squads." Deo rubbed his chin. "We could create our own strategy, while each alien squad thinks they're in control. We'll actually be running a completely different operation," Lena said, excitement building in her voice. "It's risky," Rajiv warned. "If we're caught coordinating between squads, we could be expelled." Eric stood up. "But if we succeed, we'll change how they see humans forever. No more being treated like primitive Deathworlders. They'll have to respect what we can do." The humans looked at each other. They had all faced the same prejudice since arriving at the Academy. The sneers, the jokes, the low expectations. "I'm in," Zoe said firmly. One by one, they'd all agreed. "Then it's settled," Eric said. "When the training mission starts, we'll show them exactly what Deathworlders can do." As they left their meeting spot, none of them could have predicted just how dramatically they were about to change the future of humans in the galaxy. The main hall of the Galactic Defense Academy was packed with cadets from over 30 different species. Floating screens showed a rotating image of Proxima 9, the moon where the training operation would take place. Commander Vexlar, a tall blue-skinned alien with 4 arms, stepped onto the stage. The room went quiet. "Cadets, tomorrow begins the annual tactical training operation," he announced. 24 squads will compete to control 5 command centers on Proxima 9. Eric sat with his assigned squad, carefully watching the other human cadets spread throughout the room. They had worked out a simple hand signal system to communicate without anyone noticing. "This year includes a special challenge," Commander Vexlar continued. "Senior officers will play the role of hostile native species. They will attack all squads equally. You must adapt to this unexpected threat." Eric subtly touched his ear twice, their signal for opportunity. Across the room, May nodded slightly. Lena, sitting near the front, scratched her nose in agreement. "Dropships will deploy your squads at sunrise," the commander said. "The operation lasts 10 days. The squad controlling the most command centers at the end wins." Trenvor, Eric's squad leader, leaned over. "Human, you will carry our squad's heavy equipment. Your thick bones should be good for something. The other aliens in the squad snickered. Eric nodded respectfully. Yes, squad leader. What Trenvor didn't know was that being assigned to equipment duty gave Eric access to all their weapons and communication devices. Across the room, Mad was having a similar experience. You will be our medical support, said her squad leader, a thin, pale alien named Jivzor. Your species is used to blood and gore, yes. Your primitive planet makes you good for such unpleasant tasks. I'm honored to serve the squad, Mad replied calmly, while thinking about how her new position would let her monitor squad communications. After the briefing, cadets received their equipment and mission details. The 6 humans found moments to pass near each other, exchanging quick words that seemed like casual conversation, but contained coded information. Weather on Proxima 9 looked stormy. Deo mentioned to Rajiv as they crossed paths at the equipment station. Yes, especially in the northern regions, Rajiv replied, their code for focusing operations in that area. That night, as most cadets slept, Zoe carefully modified 6 standard communication devices. She added a special frequency that Academy systems wouldn't detect. These modified communicators looked normal, but would allow the humans to coordinate during the mission. Remember, Eric whispered as he collected his device from Zoe in a dark corridor, we need to play our roles perfectly. No one can suspect we're working together until it's too late. The plan starts as soon as we land, Zoe reminded him. Each of us needs to start building trust with our squads right away. And look for weaknesses in the command system, Eric added. They separated quickly when they heard footsteps approaching. As Eric walked back to his quarters, he felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. Tomorrow, they would begin the most ambitious plan 6 human cadets had ever attempted in the Academy's history. What the aliens called a training operation, the humans saw as their one chance to change everything. The dropship shook violently as they entered Proxima 9's atmosphere. Rajiv held onto his harness, while the aliens in his squad looked nervous. Attention all units, a voice crackled over the speakers. We are experiencing unexpected atmospheric interference. Prepare for emergency landing procedures. Rajiv's squad leader, a tall insect-like alien named Kriz, clicked his mandibles anxiously. This was not in the mission parameters. The dropship lurched to one side, then plummeted. When it finally landed with a hard thud, Rajiv checked his location device. They were 15 miles from their planned landing zone. Everyone out, Kriz ordered. As the squad exited the ship, they found themselves in a dense jungle with strange purple plants releasing spores into the air. My respiratory filters are failing, one alien gasped, dropping to his knees. Within minutes, 4 squad members, including Kriz, were struggling to breathe. The spores affected their alien biology, but Rajiv felt fine. I can help, Rajiv said, taking charge. He quickly gathered large leaves from nearby plants and fashioned makeshift masks. These will filter the spores. I learned this survival technique on Earth. The aliens looked surprised but accepted his help. As the lowest-ranking member of the squad, Rajiv wasn't expected to lead. We need to move to higher ground, Rajiv continued. The spores are heavier than air. They'll stay in these low areas. How do you know this? Asked an alien with blue skin. On Earth, we have similar dangerous plants. You learn to survive or you die. Rajiv helped Kriz to his feet. Can you walk, squad leader? Kriz nodded weakly. Lead the way, human. Miles away, Deo faced his own challenge. His squad's dropship had landed on a rocky mountainside, and a sudden landslide had separated him from the others. The rocky terrain reminded him of his training hikes back on Earth. Using a technique he'd learned from mountain rescue training, Deo tracked his squad's footprints and broken vegetation. He found them 2 hours later, standing helplessly at the edge of a flooded cave system. 2 of our members are trapped inside, his squad leader explained frantically. The water is rising, but none of us can swim in these conditions. Deo looked at the rushing water. The aliens from dry planets had never evolved swimming abilities, and even those who could swim were stopped by the fast current. "I'll get them," Deo said, removing his heavy gear. "Impossible," the squad leader argued. "The underwater tunnel stretches for at least 50 meters. Deo smiled. "Humans can hold their breath for minutes. We swim for fun on our planet." Before anyone could stop him, Deo dove into the water. The cold hit him immediately, but he pushed forward, using powerful strokes he'd learned in Earth's oceans. He found the two aliens trapped on a rock shelf as water rose around them. Their eyes widened in surprise when they saw him. After showing them how to hold onto his shoulders, Deo swam back through the underwater tunnel, carefully managing his breath. When they emerged, the entire squad stared in amazement. "How did you do that?" one asked. Deo shrugged. "I'm a Deathworlder. We learn to swim before we can walk." That night, as both squads made camp, Rajiv and Deo secretly checked their modified communicators. 4 blinking lights showed that the other humans were alive and implementing their plans. The operation had begun chaotically, but for the humans, chaos was an opportunity. 3 days into the training operation, Lena sat on a rock watching her squad argue about their next move. Her squad leader, a thin, tall alien named Vrix, wanted to avoid the hostile natives at all costs. "Those are senior officers playing the role of enemies," Vrix insisted. "They know all our tactics. We must stay away from them." Lena had been quietly observing these hostiles from a distance. She noticed something the others missed: patterns in their movements that revealed valuable information. When the squad rested that night, Lena slipped away. She approached a hostile camp carefully, using the Earth military hand signals she'd learned as a child from her veteran father. A disguised senior officer noticed her signals and motioned her forward. "Cadet, you shouldn't be here," he whispered. "Sir, I have a proposal," Lena said quietly. "What if we work together? Not as enemies, but as allies." The senior officer raised an eyebrow. "That's not in the rules." "But it's not against the rules either," Lena pointed out. "The briefing said you would attack all squads equally. It never said we couldn't negotiate." The officer thought for a moment. "Interesting approach, human. What do you propose?" Meanwhile, Eric was dealing with his own challenges. His squad leader, Trenvor, insisted on following standard academy tactics that weren't working well on Proxima 9. "The weather patterns here are similar to Earth's monsoon season," Eric suggested carefully. "We should prepare for flash floods in these valleys." "Silence, human," Trenvor snapped. "Your primitive planet's weather has nothing to do with our mission." Hours later, when heavy rain began to fall and water filled the valley, Eric led the squad to higher ground just in time. Though Trenvor wouldn't admit it, Eric had saved them from disaster. On the 3rd evening, the 6 humans found a small window to communicate using their modified devices. "Status reports," Mai whispered into her communicator from behind some rocks. "I've made contact with the hostile natives," Lena reported. "They're open to working with us instead of against us." "My squad leader still doesn't trust me," Zoe said, "but I've mapped the terrain around the central command hub. There's a weakness on the eastern side. My squad is finally listening to me after I saved them from toxic spores," Rajiv added. Deo chuckled. "Amazing what pulling a few aliens out of underwater caves can do for your reputation." "Good," Eric said. "We're making progress. Now for Phase 2. May, have you analyzed the communication patterns?" May nodded, though no one could see her. "Yes. The Academy's encryption has a pattern. There's a 5-minute window every 4 hours when we can communicate without being detected." "Perfect," Eric said. "Tomorrow, a big storm is coming. Most technology will fail. That's when we make our move." "How do you know a storm is coming?" Zoe asked. "The air pressure, cloud formations, wind patterns," Eric explained. "Just like back home before a hurricane." As they finished their quick meeting, dark clouds gathered on the horizon. The massive storm Eric predicted was indeed approaching. None of the aliens noticed the weather signs, but all 6 humans recognized them immediately. While their squads prepared for another routine day of the exercise, the human cadets were getting ready for the opportunity the storm would bring. Phase 2 of their plan was about to begin, and the alien cadets had no idea what was coming. In the Academy's orbiting command station, the instructors watched their screens with growing confusion. "Something strange is happening," said Senior Instructor Kelazor, pointing to the display. "Squads with human cadets are performing 30% better than predicted." His assistant nodded. "The human in Squad 12 saved them from a toxic spore zone. The one in Squad 5 rescued 2 cadets from flooding caves." "Interesting," Kelazor murmured. "Perhaps we've underestimated these Deathworlders." On the surface of Proxima 9, May was putting her own skills to use. Her squad had encountered another team in a small valley, and during the brief battle, the opposing squad's commander had collapsed. "He's having an allergic reaction to something," shouted one of the aliens. "We need emergency extraction." May pushed through the crowd. "I can help." She examined the fallen commander, noting his blue skin turning purple. His breathing was shallow. "What are you doing, human?" someone demanded. Mai ignored them, searching the nearby plants. She found what she needed, a red-leaf bush similar to plants on Earth. She crushed the leaves into a paste and applied it to the commander's neck. "This will reduce the swelling in his air passages," she explained calmly. "The chemical compounds are similar to medicines we use on Earth." Within minutes, the commander was breathing normally again. Both squads stared at Mai in amazement. "How did you know what to do?" her squad leader asked. Mai shrugged. "Earth has thousands of poisonous plants and animals. We learned to treat reactions like this as children." Meanwhile, Rajiv had gradually taken more control of his squad. After saving them from the spores, he had suggested small changes to their tactics that were actually guiding them toward the primary command center, exactly where the humans wanted them to be. "The terrain slopes downward here," Rajiv pointed out. "If we go this way instead of following the map directly, we save energy and stay hidden." His squad leader, still weakened from the spore incident, agreed without argument. What he didn't realize was that Rajiv was leading them to rendezvous with Deo's squad at a strategic location. That afternoon, Deo's squad encountered a group of hostile natives who, instead of attacking, signaled them forward. Thanks to Lena's earlier diplomacy, these senior officers shared valuable information. 3 squads have united to defend the main command center, the disguised officer told Deo. They have combined their forces and resources. This information was exactly what the humans needed. When the next communication window opened, Deo shared it with the other humans. "Perfect," Eric said through the communicator. "Now we know where to focus our efforts." As evening approached, dark clouds filled the sky. Wind began to howl across the landscape. The storm Eric had predicted arrived in full force. "All squads, seek shelter immediately," announced the Academy command over the main channel. Severe electromagnetic storm approaching. As the aliens panicked and rushed to secure their equipment, the 6 humans exchanged knowing glances with their squad mates. This was the opportunity they had been waiting for. The storm would disable most technology and communication systems, except for the specially modified devices the humans had prepared. While the Academy and all the other squads went dark, the humans would maintain contact with each other. The real operation was about to begin. The storm raged across Proxima 9. Lightning flashed and thunder boomed. Most electronic equipment had stopped working. Alien cadets huddled in shelters, waiting for the storm to pass. Eric saw his chance. He approached his squad leader, Trenvor, who was trying to fix their communication device. "Squad leader, I have an idea," Eric said respectfully. "I noticed Command Center 3 appears weakly defended now." Trenvor looked up with interest. "How do you know this?" "Before the storm, I climbed a tall tree and used these." Eric held up a pair of simple binoculars. "No electronics, just glass lenses. Works even during electromagnetic storms." Trenvor's eyes widened. "You can see in this weather?" Eric nodded. On Earth, we often work in bad storms. Our eyes evolved to see in poor conditions. This wasn't entirely true, but Eric knew Trenvor wouldn't question it. The alien's antennae twitched with excitement. If we captured a command center while other squads are hiding from the storm, Trenvor began, we would gain a huge advantage, Eric finished, but we should move quickly. Trenvor stood up, suddenly enthusiastic. Squad, prepare to move out. We're going to attack Command Center 3. What Trenvor didn't know was that this command center was actually a decoy. Thanks to information from Lena's hostile native allies, the humans knew the real action would be at Command Center 1. As Eric's squad moved toward the decoy location, Zoe was implementing the true objective. Her squad was sheltering in a cave near Command Center 1, the most heavily defended position. I'm going to check the perimeter, Zoe told her squad leader, who was too concerned with staying dry to argue. Once outside, Zoe made her way to a small stream that had turned into a raging river during the storm. Checking her waterproof map, she confirmed this stream ran under Command Center 1 through a narrow tunnel. Humans and water again, she muttered, pulling out a small breathing device she had secretly built from scavenged parts. It would give her just enough air for the journey. Zoe slipped into the cold water and let the current carry her toward the underwater tunnel. The aliens guarding Command Center 1 would never expect an attack from below. Most species in the Academy couldn't swim, and none would attempt it during a storm. Meanwhile, Deo and Rajiv had managed to bring their squads together, convincing their leaders that joining forces was the best strategy for surviving the storm. Now they had over 20 cadets from 2 squads following their suggestions. We should move toward Command Center 1 after the storm passes, Rajiv proposed. If we approach from the north while most squads come from the south, we'll have surprise on our side. Their squad leaders agreed, not realizing they were following the humans' master plan. Across the training zone, Lena had united her squad with 3 groups of hostile natives. The senior officers, impressed by her diplomatic approach, had agreed to create diversions at key locations. When the storm ends, we'll draw attention to the southern perimeter, the lead officer told her. This should help your squad mates at the northern approach. Me, stationed with her squad at a medical outpost, was secretly adjusting the frequencies on their emergency beacon. When activated, it would broadcast a signal that would trigger the next phase of the humans' plan. As the storm began to weaken, all 6 humans checked their special communicators. Everyone was in position. Eric's squad was heading toward the decoy. Zoe was infiltrating Command Center 1 from below. Deo and Rajiv's combined forces were ready to move from the north. Lena's diplomatic allies were set to create diversions. May's signal would coordinate them all. The aliens never saw it coming. The storm finally passed. Alien cadets emerged from their shelters, checking damaged equipment and trying to restore communications. In the Academy's orbiting command station, alarms suddenly began to sound. "What's happening?" demanded Senior Instructor Kelazor. "Sir, we're detecting unusual activity at all 5 command centers simultaneously," reported a junior instructor, staring at his screen in confusion. On the surface, Eric's plan was unfolding perfectly. His squad, led by the glory-seeking Trenvor, had reached Command Center 3 and launched their attack. 2 other squads had also taken the bait and joined the battle, creating a massive, noisy diversion. "Push forward," Trenvor shouted, believing he was about to secure a major victory. The aliens were so focused on fighting each other that none of them noticed Eric slip away during the chaos. Meanwhile, Zoe had successfully navigated the underwater tunnel and emerged inside Command Center 1's perimeter. Silently, she made her way to the central control room. Using knowledge from her engineering classes, she accessed the command center's defense systems and subtly altered their settings. The aliens guarding the facility had no idea that their security sensors now had blind spots precisely where Deo and Rajiv's combined forces would soon attack. Me, positioned at the medical outpost, waited for the exact moment. When her communicator showed all 5 humans were ready, she pressed a small button on the modified emergency beacon. Across Proxima 9, the humans' devices activated simultaneously. Each triggered a different response tailored to their location. At Command Center 2, the emergency evacuation alarm suddenly blared, causing confused defenders to follow protocol and rush to designated evacuation points, leaving key positions unguarded. At Command Center 4, the environmental systems briefly indicated toxic gas, causing defenders to put on emergency masks that limited their vision and communication. At Command Center 5, the defensive shields flickered and reset, creating a 30-second window of vulnerability. In the command station, the instructors watched in astonishment as coordinated attacks hit multiple targets at once. "This is impossible," Keldzor muttered. These squads couldn't have coordinated so perfectly with communications down during the storm. The most shocking development came when Rajiv revealed his secret weapon. During the first days, he had studied the Academy's non-lethal simulation weapons and discovered they could be modified to emit electromagnetic pulses that temporarily disabled alien equipment. "Now," Rajiv shouted, activating his modified weapon. All around him, squad members did the same, having followed his helpful suggestions for improving their weapons. The defenders at Command Center 1 were suddenly without functioning weapons or communications. When Deo's forces breached the perimeter through the blind spots Zoe had created, they found confused aliens unable to mount an effective defense. Inside the command center, Zoe led Deo's forces in through a side entrance. Together, they secured the most important facility on Proxima 9 in less than 15 minutes. By midday, 4 of the 5 command centers had fallen to squads with human cadets leading the way. Only Command Center 5 remained, controlled by the Academy's top cadet, a strategic genius named Kraxtor. But what Kraxtor didn't know was that Eric had already infiltrated his command staff, posing as a support officer from another squad. The final phase of the human plan was already in motion. In the command station, Kelzor stared at the screens showing the unprecedented situation unfolding below. "What exactly are these humans doing?" he asked, a hint of admiration in his voice. As dawn broke on the 8th day of the operation, something unprecedented happened. Every communication device on Proxima 9 simultaneously activated, overriding all security protocols. Kraxtor, the top-ranked cadet defending the last command center, frowned as his screen lit up. On it appeared 6 humans standing side by side. "Attention all remaining forces on Proxima 9, Eric announced. "This is a message from the human cadets of the Galactic Defense Academy." All across the training zone, aliens stared at their devices in confusion. The Academy instructors watched from the command station, equally shocked. "How did they hack our entire communication system?" one instructor gasped. On the screen, Mai stepped forward. "We now control 4 of the 5 command centers. Our forces are converging on Command Center 5. We offer you a choice," Rajiv continued. "Surrender now and receive honorable treatment, or face inevitable defeat." Lena smiled. "We have calculated that you have no viable path to victory. Our operations have secured all strategic positions." Deo nodded. "We've demonstrated what humans are capable of when working together. We adapted to this environment faster than any other species." Zoe finished their message. "You have 30 minutes to transmit your surrender code. After that, we will proceed with our final assault." The transmission ended, leaving stunned silence across Proxima 9. In Command Center 5, Kraxtor laughed. "Ridiculous. These primitive Deathworlders think they can intimidate us." He turned to his officers. "Double the guards at all entrances. No one surrenders to humans." "Sir," said a quiet voice beside him. It was Eric, who had been posing as a support officer. "There's something you should know." Kraxtor turned. "What is it?" Eric smiled. "I've been here for 2 days already." He held up a small device. "And I've already compromised your defense systems." Kraxtor's 4 eyes widened in shock. "Impossible. You're lying." "Shall I demonstrate?" Eric asked calmly. He pressed a button, and suddenly all the center's internal doors locked simultaneously. At the same time, Zoe activated her part of the plan. From Command Center 1, she sent a signal that remotely activated the surrender protocols and the simulation weapons of all aliens in Command Center 5. Their weapons flashed blue, the official indication of surrender in the training exercise. "What's happening?" Kraxtor demanded as his own weapon glowed blue. "How did they do this?" Across Proxima 9, squad leaders watched their weapons activate with surrender signals. The humans had somehow found a way to trigger the Academy's own systems against them. In the command station, Senior Instructor Kelzor stood up. "They've actually done it. They've found a way to remotely trigger the surrender protocols. That should be technically impossible." Within the 30-minute deadline, 22 of the 24 squad commanders formally surrendered. Only Kraxtor and one other commander refused. Eric faced Kraxtor directly. "You built your strategy on the assumption that humans are primitive. That was your mistake. On Earth, we evolved to see patterns others miss, to adapt to impossible situations, and to turn disadvantages into strengths." Kraxtor stared at Eric with new respect. "Perhaps we have underestimated your species. The Academy's scoring system, designed for conventional victories, couldn't process what was happening." The display board in the command station flickered and glitched repeatedly as it tried to calculate the unprecedented outcome. Senior Instructor Kelzor watched with growing amazement. "These Deathworlders have just rewritten the entire Academy training manual. This is completely unacceptable." Commander Vexlar's forearms gestured wildly as he paced across the Academy's main conference room. These human cadets violated the spirit of the training exercise. The 6 humans sat calmly at the long table, facing a panel of senior instructors. The training operation had ended early after the mass surrender, and now the Academy leadership demanded answers. "Separate them for questioning," Vexlar ordered. "I want to know exactly how they coordinated across squads." The humans were taken to different rooms. Academy officials hoped they would give conflicting stories, but instead, each human methodically explained their methods without hesitation or contradiction. In Room 1, Eric sat across from Senior Instructor Kelzor. "How did you modify the communication devices?" Kelzor asked. Eric placed the device on the table. "We didn't break any rules. We simply found a pattern in your encryption that created small windows where communication was possible." In Room 2, May explained her medical techniques. "My knowledge comes from Earth's diverse and often dangerous environment," she said. "We have thousands of toxic plants and animals. Treating reactions quickly means survival." In Room 3, Rejuv demonstrated how he modified the simulation weapons. "The power cells have a secondary function you never considered," he explained. "It's not a malfunction. It's a feature you didn't know existed." In Room 4, Zoe showed the diagrams of her underwater infiltration route. "Most species here avoid water," she explained. "On Earth, we swim for recreation. What you see as an impassable barrier, we see as a pathway." In Room 5, Deo explained their combat tactics. "Earth has hundreds of predator species," he said. "We evolved to recognize patterns instantly and adapt to threats. It's not technology. It's instinct." In Room 6, Lena described her diplomatic approach with the hostile natives. "The briefing never said we couldn't negotiate with them," she pointed out. "You told us to adapt to unexpected threats. That's exactly what we did." As the questioning continued, the tone in each room gradually shifted. The instructors stopped asking accusatory questions and began taking notes. For the first time, they were genuinely interested in human perspectives. Later that day, the Academy leadership gathered privately. "The humans didn't break any specific rules," admitted Commander Vexlar reluctantly. "More importantly," said Kelzor, "they showed us massive blind spots in our training. Their approach to risk is fundamentally different from ours." "What do you mean?" asked another instructor. "We train cadets to prevent problems before they happen," Kelzor explained. Humans accept that disasters will occur and focus on surviving them. They expect things to go wrong and prepare accordingly. Their planet shaped them differently, said a tactical instructor. While we evolved in stable environments, Earth constantly tried to kill them. They don't just adapt, they expect to adapt. Vexlar nodded slowly. Perhaps we've been overlooking something valuable in these Deathworlders. Back in their quarters that evening, the 6 humans were surprised when instead of punishment, they received a message. Report to Command Hall tomorrow at 800 hours. Academy Curriculum Revision Committee requests your input on new tactical training protocols. Mai smiled at her friends. I think we've changed more than just a training exercise. We've changed how they see humans, Eric agreed. And this is just the beginning. 6 months after the legendary training operation, the Galactic Defense Academy looked very different. Signs in multiple languages hung in the main hall. One large banner read, "Diversity of perspective creates strength." Eric stood in his new instructor uniform, watching first-year cadets practice in the training hall. His class, Adaptation Under Pressure, had become one of the most popular courses at the academy. Ready for the ceremony? May asked, joining him by the observation window. Eric nodded. Hard to believe how much has changed in half a year. The 6 humans had become something of celebrities at the academy. After their success in the training operation, the leadership had completely reorganized their approach to teaching. Now, cadets from different environments were deliberately grouped together to learn from each other's strengths. Squad 12, remember your environmental awareness. Regiv called to his students in another training room. He was teaching them how to adapt standard equipment for unexpected situations, something humans did naturally. Across the academy, Zoe was leading a special engineering class. Sometimes the most advanced solution isn't the best one, she explained, showing how simple mechanical tools could work when technology failed. Deo had created a new physical training program that incorporated survival techniques from Earth and other challenging planets. Even species from comfortable environments were learning basic swimming now. Lena had perhaps the most surprising new role, diplomatic instructor. Her approach with the hostile natives had inspired a whole new training module on negotiation with potential enemies. That afternoon, all 6 humans gathered with Academy leadership for a special ceremony on Proxima 9. They stood at the site of Command Center 1, where their plan had come together 6 months earlier. Commander Vexlar unveiled a simple stone marker with words carved in multiple languages. Assumption is the mother of failure. Adaptation is the cornerstone of survival. This memorial, Vexlar announced to the assembled cadets and instructors, marks not just the site of an impressive tactical victory, but the beginning of a new understanding between species. After the ceremony, Senior Instructor Kelzor approached the humans with news. The Galactic Fleet has requested human officers for their newest ships, he told them. Not just a few, they want hundreds. Every ship captain is asking for Deathworlder crew members. Why the sudden change? Deo asked. Your success proved something important, Kelzor explained. Species from comfortable worlds excel when everything goes according to plan. But in real crises, they need people who expect things to go wrong and know how to survive when they do. As the humans prepared to graduate and join the fleet as officers, requests for human crew members had increased by 3,000%. Species that once looked down on humans now specifically asked for them on difficult missions. We came here hoping just to be respected, Eric said as the 6 friends looked out at the sunset on Proxima 9. Instead, we changed the entire academy. And maybe the whole galaxy, May added. Zoe smiled. Not bad for a bunch of primitive Deathworlders. As night fell, the stars appeared above them. Thousands of worlds where humans would soon be welcome not despite being from Earth, but because of it. What began as a training operation had become the catalyst for humanity's rise from outsiders to valued allies throughout the galaxy. The universe would never underestimate humans again.